All right, everybody, do not panic. However, watch this video because I have three examples to show you, and they're real-time examples. And these people are calling me, they're seeking advice, they want to know where to go. I mean, they don't know how they got into this mess, but it is obvious, like, right? Like they wanted all the best. They wanted to invest in real estate. They wanted to move forward. They wanted to get rich very quickly, or whatever the case is, right? But they had, I'm sure sincerely that they had good intentions. However, moving forward, they're not doing much to help themselves, right? So basically, they're crying, complaining, and hoping that the next round, so the next quarter, the next bank announcement will magically help them. Well, look, yesterday we had the announcement that the Bank Canada rates are feathering down another 0.25%. And yes, that is great. That helps a lot. However, like some of these people need more than help. They need money, right? And most of them, they don't have any money. So I would like to get into the first scenario here and basically how it happened. You know, my phone rang, I picked it up, so and so. They purchased a condo, okay, in Mississauga, which is a city close to Toronto, if you're not from around here, Toronto GTA, right? So pre-con, $800,000, everything was phenomenal. The place is around Highway 5 and 10, which is Dundas and Highway 10, right? So my first question was, why did you purchase there? I mean, there's nothing there, right? Like, okay, public transit is available, but really the area, it's not supported as well. And if you're from around here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, at that time when they purchased it, you know, lack of listings, lack of everything, and they found this project, they liked it and stuff like that. So the number one thing what they're trying to do over the phone, they're trying to sell me on it, right? It's a brand new construction and it's great, and you should see you should see the building, you should see the property, you should see the unit and all of that. Like, it has been done spectacular and it's brand new. And well, I get it. I've been in that complex. I've been to that actual condominium building, so I know exactly what is going on. Typical, right? Modern style. They try to save on every corner. They have some utilities or whatever, but it is what it is. They're all look the same, right? More or less. So when we got into the numbers, is okay. So they purchased it for $800,000. So I had to actually write this down. So 20% down was $160,000. Check this out. So mortgage is at $640,000. Follow? All right. So then the amortization rate and all of that stuff, like they closed on the mortgage, they went from the occupancy phase into actually, because they didn't know is a family member going to move in or not, or whatever. The daughter lived in there. But however, so now they're stuck. So I asked them, I'm like, look, you were in the occupancy phase. In that occupancy phase, you could have tried selling it, or you could have, well, we didn't want it to because the market will bounce back. So we're talking 2024, the market did not bounce back, right? So, okay, so the market did not bounce back. They were paying huge fees, the occupancy fees. And I didn't ask, by the way, how much, but I'm sure they were huge, usually are. And now they took the occupancy, right? So now they're like, okay, so we want to hold on to the property. Check this out for a second. So you want to hold on to the property, no problem. So approximately the mortgage is $3,736 a month. All right. With that, there are also steps involved. So maintenance fees are roughly around $500, and property taxes are nearing $4,000. Having said that, if you calculate it all together, right, because you pay everything in a bundle, right? So let's bundle it up. $3,736 for the mortgage, $500 on average for maintenance, $333 for taxes. Without any utilities, the carrying cost would be $4,569, right? All right, great. So now I'm on the phone with them and they're like, look, we want to hold on to it because we have a feeling everything will go up and the market will flip and all of that stuff. And I'm listening. I'm like, how, how, right? And then we get to this point. So then I tell them, look, the rental, it's not a guarantee, but what we could actually get you is around, I have it right here, so it's around $2,400. And they were in shock. Like, oh, excuse me? Like, well, yeah, 2,400, 2,500, whatever, right? Give or take. Okay, no problem. So let's move forward. Let's say if we manage to rent it for $2,400 a month for a tenant pays utilities, fine. So they have to pay, the landlord has to pay maintenance, they have to pay the mortgage, and they have to pay property taxes. Correct. So out of pocket, a month, the deficit minus out of pocket, it's $2,169. Are you kidding me? So now, even though they have a tenant, which it's always an iffy situation with the tenant nowadays. Well, it always has been, but there's also always risk involved, right? So when you're zooming out a little bit, all right, so you purchased for $800,000. You lost probably 20% of equity because the prices nosedived, right? 100%, all right? So your place is worth maybe 640, 650, 680, best case scenario, all right? So, but let's assume you lost a down payment. You paid HST on it, you closed on it, you did whatever you had to do, right? Occupancy fees that we're paying for 6 months, 8 months, whatever the case is, let's just estimate it to be $3,000 a month. I'm sure it's higher than that, but let's say $3,000. So that's $36,000 a year, right? So not a lot of people like to calculate the losses. It's just bought and sold. And yes, that works in a market going up because you don't care on the ongoing cost, right? So you only care about the substance. How much is left? Great. It's positive. Let's move forward. But when we're calculating the other way around, like now everybody is nickel and diming and oh my gosh, and that expense and this expense. And what's left? Well, nothing. You're losing money. You already lost your down payment. You already lost the money being in the game. Having that, as I said, occupancy fees, which let's say $3,000, that's annual. What are we talking about? $36,000. So you have to subtract that because you're in the game. Also, now you're paying a mortgage and the whole sum, which is nearing close to $5,000 a month. Even if you rent it for, half of that, you still have a deficit of $2,169 a month. So now you're willing to continue to hold onto this straw, hoping that 2025 will hit. It's like sitting at the casino and pulling that machine, and it will hit. It will hit. Yes, it might hit, but what are the odds? What we're talking about, the odds are so minimal that it will hit and it will save you. So I just wanted you to know, and that's the first case. So the second case, it's another one, which is pre-construction. Unfortunately, they had to dig into their home equity, and they bought a condo, a small condo, the shoe box condo, which is roughly around 500 square feet. I think that even includes a balcony. to be honest with you. Balconies are 30, 40 square feet, but still, think about it, right? So it's a hallway with a balcony at the end. That's it, right? So they bought it at, I believe, 550 at the time, and now it's like they're crying because they cannot afford it. The daughter that they bought it for cannot afford it, cannot live in it, and now they're asking me what to do, and I'm like, what were you thinking? What was the end goal? Please, can you explain the end goal? And they're like, look, we wanted a brand new place, so no maintenance, okay. And then what else? And then we wanted to rent it, okay, great. And then what else? Well, then we wanted to leave it for the next generation, for the daughter to have a place one day. I'm like, okay, great. So, I mean, obviously, like we want the best for our kids. However, the game plan, think about it. It's not the greatest because there's nothing you can do with this condo. Okay, went down in price, fine. But even to recoup some of that, it's mission impossible. It's a mission impossible on a somewhat proper condo in it's almost impossible. These people with this case scenario of $800,000, they already lost $400,000 by the time they're done. They're just not realizing it yet because they don't want to hear it. But that's the case, right? So then, I don't know. To be honest with you, with the scenario two, with the small condo shoe, like I have no idea, right? Like they're thinking maybe renting it, and they can obviously get tenants in there that will pay an X amount of dollars, but it's not going to be enough. And they're barely holding on with their bills, like, day-to-day life and bills. They're like $200, $300 apart of being broke. Think about it for a second. $200 to $300 a month. It's the difference between them going belly up completely and living however they're living. All right. So now most of people are saying, don't worry about it. Strong economy, no recession. Like this thing will, whatever, shoot up magically. People are calling me being a bear. You can call me whatever you want. I fine, no problem, right? But that's the life, right? I know there are people out there that they're looking at this and they're like, okay, you are completely going off the hook for no reason. Stop scaring people. Yes, and most of the time, these people are long time in the market, paid off mortgages, inheritance. A lot of people forget, inheritance, and they're comfortable. God bless you. Be comfortable. That's fine. But I'm talking with the 85 to 90% that's literally like at the edge of a cliff looking, and we're trying to figure out what to do with these people. All right. So case number 3 is not a condo. And that property, I believe it was valued around 1.4 million dollars. And so the first thing that I asked was, okay, so what's going on? Oh, we want to sell. All right, so you want to sell? No problem. So how much you want to sell for? Like, do you know anything about real estate? Yes, we do. We want to sell. We don't want to lose any money. Okay, I understand, but what do you mean? You don't want to lose any money? Well, we bought it, obviously, 2021 or 2022, usually the case. We cannot carry it anymore, all of that stuff. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So talk to me. So what else? And they're like, okay, well, look, in the meantime, that property that they have purchased went even more up in value, created more opportunity in their eyes to collect on equity from their home. Bought 2 cars, brand new cars, which is not from the equity, but it just like the cushion. They're like, okay, this is going well. So they needed 2 cars. not any car, very expensive, $1,000 a month. I'm like, okay, you're doing great. Okay, so that's $2,000 a month. I'm like, you mentioned the equity, it went up. Yes. So they went on expensive vacations because they felt a little bit depressed from everything that was going on. So they needed that exotic, tens of thousands of dollars here and tens of thousands of dollars there and all of that stuff. So they bought toys. All right. So they bought toys. And now that equity opportunity that they had, they kept digging into it. All right. So from 2021, 2022, now 3 years later, so they were digging into their equity for almost 3 years. All right. So now they would love to sell and they would love to make gains, so to pay all of that debt off, so they're free to go and hold their down payment. Not possible. Like not even Hollywood makes these kinds of movies. Like we've seen all kinds of stuff, but even Hollywood did not come with the idea to make what's the genre? Science fiction. That's the one. Science fiction, right? So there's none of that. Like we have seen Guardians of the Galaxy where there's a raccoon flying a spaceship. They made that, but this scenario they still didn't make. So I hope you got some real value, what is actually going on to some of these people. And having said that, some of these people can sink everybody else. Do you understand that? That's the problem. So we have to figure out a way, something to keep moving forward, and it is hard. So if you have any suggestions, if you have already went through a situation like this, I know some of you are commenting, and I sincerely appreciate you're giving your personal experiences and data and all that stuff, and thank you all so much. So if you like videos like this, please continue watching, and I will see you in the next one.